The peacekeeping contingent in Ukraine will include aviation and naval forces, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. Simply having a ground presence in Ukraine is not enough, stated the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Georgy Tikhy.
We see a significant number of countries expressing their readiness to participate in this. We already have a list of countries that have shown this willingness, even officially signaling their readiness to join such a coalition, such a military contingent. It's important not only to have a ground presence, but also air and naval components. Presence at sea is not just about protecting Ukraine and Ukraine's economy, but also global food security.
Putin has no right to prevent Europe from participating in a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine, believes Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs of the UK, David Lammy, and the EU will not give him a veto. The peacekeeping contingent should become part of the security guarantees for Kyiv. According to the Foreign Minister of the UK, Putin will break any ceasefire agreement if it is not backed by solid security guarantees.
At stake is not only the future of Ukraine, but the collective security of our continent and therefore Britain's direct national interests. And the UK is prepared, of course, to consider committing British troops on the ground.
On March 20th, the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, held a closed-door meeting with the military leadership of several countries. The main focus of the talks was the details of the coalition of the willing plan to support Ukraine. According to Reuters, around 30 mostly European countries have already offered to contribute troops, aircraft, ships or funding to the peacekeeping mission in Ukraine.
But it is vitally important that we do that work because we know one thing for certain, which is a deal without anything behind it is something that Putin will breach. We know that because it's happened before, and I'm absolutely clear in my mind it will happen again.
Among the countries willing to send troops to Ukraine is Lithuania. Vilnius will take part in the peacekeeping mission once a ceasefire agreement is reached, President Gitanas Nausėda assured.
And my country is ready to provide the necessary support, and we are talking about very concrete numbers of our military troops, but there should be commitment of all countries participating in this coalition to provide this support. So far, Russia is imitating the negotiations, talking about possible peace and about possible ceasefire, but they are not even ready to keep the ceasefire as promised, not to attack, not to strike the critical infrastructure.
An alternative plan was proposed by President of France Emmanuel Macron, according to The Telegraph. It concerns a peacekeeping mission led by the United Nations. However, Ukraine does not see this plan as an alternative, stated President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky.
The UN will have no mandate to protect Ukraine if Putin brings war to us again. The question is whether such a mandate will exist for the contingent. This question remains unanswered. But undoubtedly, when there are clear military forces, air defense, ships, planes, and a serious army, with real intelligence from our partners in Ukraine, it is certainly very dangerous for the Russians to go against such infrastructure.
The next coalition of the willing meeting is scheduled for March 27 in Paris, announced President of France Emmanuel Macron. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky will attend. According to Macron, the meeting will focus on the participants' commitments to providing long-term support to Kyiv. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News. Negotiations about the deployment of troops in Ukraine are being held by several countries, report The Times. Among them are the United Kingdom, France, Turkey, Canada and Australia. The plans regarding a peacekeeping contingent for Ukraine were outlined by the Prime Minister of UK, Keir Starmer, during an online meeting with the coalition of the willing leaders. The President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, also participated in the meeting. According to The Times, about 35 countries have agreed to provide weapons, logistical and intelligence support for the potential peacekeeping mission. However, the UK and France are the ones prepared to deploy the majority of the troops in Ukraine.
Up to 30,000 troops from several nations, including the UK, could be deployed as part of a long-term peacekeeping force. From the Times publication.
The peacekeeping contingent is intended to be part of Ukraine's security guarantees, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky. He emphasized that this is important for the security of the entire continent.
Everyone is counting on security guarantees to be provided by our allies. Security guarantees for Ukraine from Europe, the United States, and other countries that want to help us. And everyone expects that there may be some form of contingent. We understand that decisions regarding NATO or any other format should depend on NATO allies or any other allies, but certainly not on Russia's desires, their vision, and especially not on their veto.
The European Union can send troops to Ukraine without considering Moscow's opinion, as Ukraine is a sovereign state, declared the President of France, Emmanuel Macron.
Ukraine is a sovereign state, and if it asks allied troops to be on its territory, it is not Russia's business whether to accept them or not. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, on a Le Parisien newspaper comment.
Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, called on world leaders to increase pressure on Russia and take concrete steps to support Ukraine. Starmer believes that Putin is playing games with ceasefire negotiations, but he is definitely not aiming for peace.
Our militaries will meet on Thursday this week here in the United Kingdom to put strong and robust plans in place to swing in behind a peace deal and guarantee Ukraine's future security. President Trump has offered Putin the way forward to a lasting peace. Now we must make this a reality. So this is the moment to keep driving towards the outcome that we want to see, to end the killing, a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, and lasting security for all of us.
One of the most difficult issues in the negotiations of the coalition of the willing about the peacekeeping mission in Ukraine remains the issue of the contingent's right to self-defense, say analysts.
The rules of engagement and the rules of self-defense and what to do if the peacekeeping or stabilization mission is in any way attacked, these are some of the most vexing and difficult questions to grapple with. One would assume they'd also be part of any negotiation that gives this kind of force a mandate. Again, hypothetical, we're nowhere near a stabilization force with an active mandate. How you resolve these questions is extremely hard to work out, because you can't deploy armed forces on the ground with no right to self-defense.
On March 20th, defense ministers from 5 leading European countries will meet in the United Kingdom to coordinate support for Ukraine and continue discussions about actions to take if a ceasefire agreement is reached. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Kristina Dombrovska, UATV News.